A far-right Israeli minister has now led hundreds of Jewish Israelis into Jerusalem's most contested holy site, with many defying the Israeli government's long-standing ban on Jewish prayer there. The visit by National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, known to Jews as Temple Mount, has been condemned as provocative by Palestinian leaders, as well as the U.S., France, and United Nations, as well as several Arab states. Mr. Ben-Gvir said in a video that, quote, "Our policy is to enable Jewish prayer," end quote. But the Israeli Prime Minister's office insists there had been no change to the status quo agreement that allows only Muslim worship there. The site is the holiest place for Jews because it was the site of two biblical temples. It's the third holiest place for Muslims, who believe it was there the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. Situated in occupied East Jerusalem, it was captured by Israel from Jordan in the 1967 Middle East War. Under the status quo, Jordan was allowed to continue its historical role as custodian of the site, while Israel assumed control of security and access. Palestinians accuse Israel of taking steps to undermine that arrangement. Shell-shocked Palestinians in the war-ravaged Gaza Strip have questioned the inexplicable bombings which are being conducted by Israel on schools, housing scores of innocent families, with many becoming increasingly desperate for their lives, as seemingly nowhere is safe from these targeted Israeli attacks. The attacks come as the Israel Defense Forces alleges some Palestinian militants are operating inside these schools or are using them as command centers. But for many of the traumatized civilians living there, such accusations seem hard to fathom. The United Nations estimates that around 1.9 million of Gaza's 2.1 million population have been forcibly displaced amid Israel's military attacks. Many Gazans are now residing in school buildings that have been turned into makeshift shelters, but these appear to no longer be safe spaces either, due to the frequency of ongoing Israeli airstrikes. Since the beginning of August, at least 13 schools that have taken in those seeking safety have been subject to attacks, the worst of which came on Saturday when over 100 people were killed. The bombings have provoked widespread anger across the Middle East, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the continued loss of life in Gaza.